So this gentleman came to me when he was 65 years old, pain in both knees since many years. He had diabetes and hypertension and skin eczema, but the skin was well healed. He was under treatment from a dermatologist. This is how his X-rays look like. He had varus of 15 degrees on the right side, 20 degrees varus on the left side, flexion contracture of 15 degrees, further flexion 120 degrees on the right side, and on the left side he had 30 degrees flexion and further flexion of 90 degrees. So this is the immediate post-operative X-ray. I did a bilateral stage TKR spinal epidural uneventful recovery. Neutral mechanical alignment was achieved. I don't have standing scanogram views. So far he was like really good. This is the implant that we used. We used a GVF poly 10 mm on the right side and GVF poly 12.5 mm on the left side. And he came back 1 year later, he was normal, he had good range of motion. Then he had craniotomy, which is not related to this case. I mean to say he had some health issues. Then he came back 2 years later, he was happy. You can see the X-rays, no trouble. 7 years later, he came to me with cellulitis. And he also had some consolidation and he was treated with IV antibiotics, his swelling and everything subsided. He went back. Then 8 years post-surgery, he came back with some history of allergic rash. He had cellulitis. We did both knee aspiration, both knee culture was negative, extended culture was negative, and leg debridement was done by general surgeon. 10 years later, this is what he came to me with. He had pain and swelling both in right knee since 2 months. Both legs were hyperpigmented and he had rashes of healed eczema. Probably that hyperpigmentation was because of the cellulitis surgery. And now his range of motion was decreased from 0 to 90 on the right side and 0 to 85 on the left side. On the right side, he had joint-line tenderness as well as effusion. So you can see the X-rays and you can see on the lateral view the shadow of huge synovitis. I thought he had aseptic loosening. I asked him aspiration and advised him that he might need 1 or 2 stage surgery. But then he did not come back. Then he came back 2 years later when he was 13 years post-op with persistent pain and swelling on the right knee for 2 years. Swelling on the right knee was persistent since 6 months and he had increased pain in 6 months. That is why he came back to me. In the meantime, he had a lot of health issues. He had spine surgery, prostatomegaly and all other things. So this time he had varus alignment on both knees, 5 degrees. Range of movement had decreased both the sides. Right knee was tender and he had diffusion. And he has varus stress test positive, grade 2 on the right side. And he was able to walk unsupported. I told him he had aseptic loosening. I told him he needed surgery, advised aspiration. And I asked him to be careful with his weight bearing and asked him to use a hinge knee brace. So then he came back next month with this X-ray and it looked like aseptic loosening to me. Then I told him surgery, but he came back. Our patients don't really listen to us. They want to prolong as much as they want. So he has now 13 years post-surgery. He has varus, decreased range of flexion, joint-line tenderness, effusion. And asked him not to weight bear and told him he had high chances of failure. We did an aspiration. He was convinced and no bug grew for immediately 7 days or extended cultures, no bug grew.
So can we stop for just a minute? Dr. Pavisi, was it infected from the word go? And what would be your algorithm for diagnosis?
Definitely infected for a long time. If not from the go, it's been for a long time. Probably most likely since that episode of cellulitis. But this has infection written all over it.
So any additional tests would you?
Yeah, well, just again, this implant, we saw a lot of these when I was at Washington University. Go back one X-ray. This is a terrible tibial base plate, poor locking detail, titanium. It was actually functioned as a mobile bearing, and the most wear debris of any knee in the history of knee replacement came from this knee. So that X-ray that you see with the osteolysis and the loosening on the tibial side was classic without infection. So I wonder if he's been infected for 5 years with that big a fusion, could he have not gotten septic? And so it could be either way. You have to rule it out, but I've seen a lot of PFCs that look just like that.
Vaibhav? Yeah.
So unsure if it's infected. We have got 2 experts who have said diametrically about this thing, and I think any of them can be right, but I'll lean towards Professor Parvezi because sometimes these infections may not come in. So for me, the cell count probably from the synovial fluid, I don't know what's the role for that, but that's an important marker for me. Yeah.
And I think as we talked about, these things need to be worked up. But as I said yesterday, every painful prosthesis is infected unless proven otherwise. So the other thing that I want to draw attention here is 48 hours of culture is inadequate. You really need 2 weeks in a case like
we
this.
had extended
But
cultures
more
for it.
importantly, cell count, serology, etc., needs to be done to work this up. And I'm not saying this is definitely infected, but it certainly has infection written all over it.
Nothing to add.
Okay.
So, Dr. Meloni, you have been saying about this PFC. I mean, in India, I think a lot of us are doing PFC, and we have
Yeah,
not
the,
found...
the PSC that was done in the U.S. in the late 80s and early 90s, and I'm sure Ralph has seen some of this at the Mayo Clinic. I'm not sure how it actually survived. It didn't have a class action lawsuit because it was so bad. I've got videos of the revision of these things, and the lock detail was so bad it would just be a mobile bearing. It would be moving back and forth on a titanium base plate, and when you look at the wear debris in the membrane, it's the most I've ever seen. It was both polyethylene and titanium wear debris, and it created, that combination is the most inflammatory combination you can have, and it created massive osteolysis in these cases.
Okay, so what did you do? Can we go on?
So I was convinced he was not infected because we did multiple repeated cultures over last 3-4 years and never grew a bug, and his count and everything was all right. His serology was all right. So this is how he looked like. He had massive synovial reaction, and it was not infected on table. And this is what the problem was. His poly had delaminated. It was wearing really bad, and it was wear-induced osteolysis. All these implants came out really easily. This is how the tibia looked like, and this is how the femur looked like. And after preparation, we had good bone in all 3 zones. Not really very good bone, but then we had bone support in all 3 zones. And we decided to use a offset tibia. And this is our femoral preparation. We decided to use a distal as well as posterior augments and used a offset stem. This is with the trial in situ. You can see the distal augments, and this is the offset femoral stem. And this is how it looked like in extension, and he was well balanced in flexion as well. And this is my post-op X-ray. He's doing well at 18 months. I got away with a constant implant. We also sent intraoperative tissue cultures, and everything came negative for infection.
Ronan, you still think this is non-infected?
Yes, I do.
Dr. Sierra?
Yeah, I mean, I think that you've done a great job, trying to diagnose infection. If everything comes back negative, then I think it's probably not infected. The only thing that I would have added for sure in a complex case like this is metaphyseal fixation. I think you used cement. I would have probably used a cone or a sleeve, primarily to improve the potential durability of the implant.
Dr. Lustig?
That's why I used a longer stem.
Yeah, no, two questions. When you get the sample, did you start, a broad antibiotic therapy waiting for the 2 weeks, results of the samples, or how did you manage that? Because you thought it was aseptic loosening, but
No
with
antibiotics, and I did a intra-op frozen section,
okay,
which came negative.
and my other question is, when you have a case like this, when you have in your mind it might be infected, how do you manage the patella? Because the patella was resurfaced.
I removed the button and I left it like that. There was very thin sclerotic bone, I could not reconstruct it. So if you can see the X-rays, the patella is just like that.
Okay, so from want of time, I'm afraid we have to move on. So thank you very much.